Hey guys, it's Ninja Shadow. Back again with another video to show progression on this sketch that we have so far, which we've been doing for a few weeks now. So basically, we're gonna try to finish the initial sketching period of this out. So that'll be fun. But yeah, basically what we had last time was the initial sketch, which was the showing of my face basically in this part. We only had mostly this part and this part starting off. And then we added this part when we were off camera kind of a little bit. Then we also added these two characters, which are basically, they are representations of, previous users. They're basically previous users of the abilities that he has, which is him as well. So there's a lot into the story and so on and so forth. I wanted to, resemble and represent sort of how I feel about humanity and so on and so forth. Good and bad aspects of it. So you can't just have one. There's always got to be a different, contradicting perspective and things about life. You can't just have it one set way, because life doesn't work like that. It's not one way of doing things. It's multiple. It just depends on the person and the questions that you ask about life, and those are the answers you receive. So stuff like that, though. Not to get all deep and philosophical, but yeah, basically we're gonna try to finish sketching this out. This video will at least be probably 30 minutes, maybe 40, because we are almost done with the initial sketching phase, which we basically going to be. We got to add her arms, draw something in the background, and finish this guy right here, because we have everything else done for the bottom and this stuff up here. So now all we got to do is finish the actual character himself, Ninja Shadow. If you guys check them out, this video, he's basically the main character, which is also this guy right here. So, which is me basically. So there's that. But yeah, this is for my drawing channel. I'll be sharing it to the Baka Squad YouTube channel. For those of you who have subscribed to that, thank you, and please subscribe to this channel if you're really interested in my art videos. So you guys know, if you like doing art, so forth. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for this sort of video. I'm thinking the shoulder armor might be a bit too low, so we're gonna move it just a tad bit. If we move it up, then it'll at least make sense. Like, we gotta angle it or something, because but was that part. We gotta draw the other piece of it too, so it connects. Yep, that looks better, because at least that's kind of angled at a reasonable level. Instead of it going like this, it'll be more like, so basically instead of it being like, what's the best way I could explain? Yeah, so instead of it, if you look at the way the graphite is angled at, instead of it going like this, it'll go like this. So it was more like this, because if you remember where we had it at, somewhere like this, but we have it now more like straight, kind of, to a certain extent. It's dipping, but not to a large extent to where it's off. So there's that. And the thing about it is basically is that, trying to combine different cultural aspects to the story and so on and so forth. Since, this character called in the shadow, you know, has two perspectives on Asian culture and so on and so forth, studies it, so on and so forth, learns about it, studies about African culture, specifically places like, Mozambique, Egypt, stuff like that, basically, but specifically, there's aspects of those two things going hand in hand because supposedly there's a legend in Mozambique that there was a first samurai based on this TV series named Afro Samurai and so on and so forth. Basically, a samurai who was a person of color back during, I believe, the Edo or Shindo period. Essentially, he was the first samurai who was of color. And apparently, he was from Mozambique. That's what documents are saying. At least I wouldn't know. I wasn't there, but I think it's just very interesting that there's something like that exists. I mean, if he wasn't a slave, that's really misfortunate. They're saying that he was to try to paint a specific picture. But if he was and he became a samurai and, did better for himself instead of staying a slave, then I honestly am proud to have that sort of happen instead of him being a slave and the romanticizing it to a certain extent. Like saying, oh yeah, everybody who was a person of color who succeeded in life was a slave. It's like, it's not always like that. Like, there's so many stereotypes that are put into storytelling and so forth, so on and so forth. And I want to have it different. I don't want to have it like, oh yeah, every person is the exact same based on their looks. Because realistically, that's not how things work. People are varying from person to person based on how they were raised and so on and so forth, from just them as a person overall. Just basically definitive aspects of who they are rather than what they're supposed to be based on society standards and misconceptions of people. So there's that aspect to it. So yeah, basically he's got a hood on. I'm going to be adding all the detail with ink instead of doing it with pencil. So there's going to be that aspect to it, and I think it looks a lot like me. To be honest with you, because let me pull the foot out if I have it. Let me see. I feel like I did pretty good, to be honest with you guys, considering. Yeah, I think I did pretty good considering perspective and so on and so forth for the face, because you want it to look forward. But outside of different perspective, where it's like, this one's here, this one's kind of here, and these guys are at the bottom, skulls going up. I basically want the piece to have the viewer look around at specific things and references to the story and so forth, instead of it being generic. And at least if it's that, I want it to look super detailed as well in general to show that level of skill has improved in my art and so on and so forth, which is what a lot of artists do whenever they're doing comics and so on and so forth. And I'm definitely gonna have to continue writing my story before I draw it because I feel like that'd be easier to do. I've been looking at a lot of war scenes from the series like Berserk, just a lot of war scenes in general for movies and so on and so forth, like Ronin 47. Yeah, there's a lot of movies. Kill Bill, martial arts scene I've been looking at as reference, not reference, but like cinematography and direction. Basically, I've been looking at a good amount of martial arts films to use reference. Definitely Bruce Lee films. Anime, actually, obviously, because it has certain aspects of it that relate to real life martial arts, so on and so forth, which explains how they're able to animate it so fluid and very accurate to how the body articulates in motion, specifically fighting stances and so on and so forth. But man, so we're gonna try to finish the sketching part, and then that's it. That'll be for this video. Next video will probably be me just straight up making 100% honesty, because I want to get this done, like straight up done, so that I can just start on my comic. That's exactly what I'm planning on doing. Not even saying in general, I think it'd be really dope to have certain characters and show up and so on and so forth. But these two characters specifically will play a large part in the overall storytelling. At least that's what I plan on having happening. Because, previous users sort of like Avatar's another good reference that I'm gonna have in terms of storytelling to a degree. Because basically these are previous users, what is the information and knowledge that they've gained to instill onto the newest user of the title Ninja Shadow, being me, aka this guy right here, specifically for the story. And it won't just be, one specific genre. It'll have subsets of genres, and each arc will specifically overall have an overarching theme that relates in a conclusive story that is not confusing to the viewer, has different perspectives you can have. It won't have one definitive narrative. It'll be like it'll be like kind of like how you watch a movie, you see that and you're like, okay, what's the definitive ending? It's like the creator can either tell you it or you make up your own interpretation. To me, that's a little more interesting than having a definitive, stylized ending by the creator, because it's like it gives the viewer more interest in the story because it's not a definitive say all be all sort of thing. I could either have a story like that or have an actual conclusive ending that is solidified, allows the viewer to not be overwhelmed, and overall enjoy the story as a whole. I could either word. I mean, that's the thing about it. When you're creating your own thing, you can have it set up however you want. But for storytelling, you're gonna want a certain follow specific sort of guidelines so that it's not boring to the viewer. You want to catch their, attention, and you don't want it to be too long and overdrawn. So yeah, I don't have a lot to say in terms of detail explaining my story and so on and so forth. But in actually writing the story, I feel like I'm not gonna add too much words. It's gonna be more of action, because actions speak louder than words. That's another aspect of it. People can say this and say that. It's like, okay, what have you as a person have done? How did that affect you? Did you think logically, or did you base your actions off of emotion, so on and so forth? Stuff like that, though. But and then we have a skull right here for demons. Well, specifically, this is a skull that resurrects demons, which is, I'll explain in the story. Basically, it uses manifestation of humans. That's all I'm going to say. It's a manifestation of humanity. I'll get to say however what. I'll explain the story when I start drawing the actual comic, which I plan on doing, definitely. So that'll be fun. I just feel like whenever I draw a lot of characters and stuff, I definitely can do it, obviously, because you can see here that I think I'm doing pretty good, to be honest with you. But I think this draw war scene would be kind of difficult for me because I've never done something at that large of a scale on that size of a scale. Because this is 11 by 17. Like someone could just like do a thumbnail sketch and it would look like a film. And for me, I feel like I definitely could do it 100% honesty. I would just have to look at films, more films, so on and so forth, in terms of looking at how wars go and so on and so forth. In terms of directorial shots, cinematography shots, and composition and stuff to make the viewer's eye sort of expand in more than one idea of how a film would be shot at for a war scene. So there's a lot to it though. It's not just easy. This is definitive and that's definitive. There's a lot to it. So yeah, that's basically how I feel about that though. So we can do a cityscape because the title is obviously going to be up here, as surprising as that is. And then what could we do? So we have the concept will probably be totally different. And I think in the first and second video, I basically showed you what the concept was, which is similar to what this is basically. I do like drawing cityscapes, not gonna lie with you guys 100%. I should probably do I can have it like fading in here. Yup, kind of fading inward. Cityscape and demons. But I could have them intertwined with the title. That'd be dope. That'd be dope. Or something like a whole bunch of eyes looking to represent how society looks at people. Stuff like that. That's what I was thinking about when doing the concept too, and that's what I thought about when I was doing my last video. I remember showing you guys, was talking about it, but I wasn't sure. And then this is what I ended up doing. So I might incorporate that idea into the final piece, but in a certain aspect of it. So that'll be fun. Okay, so it goes that. Yep, so logo, publication, book, issue, date. Okay, I'll just label this a date. I got this actually finished for this one. Is when I'll date it. And the other one that I did for the other cover, I labeled that how it was supposed to be labeled and ink that in and so on and so forth. But yeah, definitely it's going to be fun to ink. So even this could just be a good piece, but I want to do something in the background. It doesn't make it super boring because I don't want it just to be characters. I want you guys to have an understanding of the sort of, the location of the area, that sort of thing to it. So, yeah, I know exactly what I'm going to do. Yep, I'm going to do a cityscape, so we could just even write this down if we want to. But we're going to have it so that it's like going, kind of going a perspective where it's out for the buildings. So I got his viewer's eyes down here, because that's where the characters are too. We'll go down, because look. Basically, you'd be going like this. And then you could have a whole bunch of demons or whatever. Basically, that's probably what I'm going to do. So, that'll be fun. And don't forget to try to always center your paper so you know exactly where the characters are going and so on and so forth. Depending on if you're doing panels or just a cover. So, yep, that's what we're going to do for that. So we're gonna do. So it's gonna be a city over here, and then demons. Yep. Or even we could have a whole bunch of eyes, and the city is a silhouette. That'll be dope. Yeah, that's probably what we're gonna end up doing somehow. That'll be dope. We could just do the city, silhouette itself. No, that's what we should do. Yep, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. City and or temples, whatever that sort of thing. Eyes are gonna be at the top, kind of interacting and so on and so forth, something like that. Because, like I said, if you wanted to interact, you wanted to make it look interesting and have it cover the whole page to also not be boring. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. Okay, that's that guy, the main character. So we got this guy here, main character basically. You can tell already. So goes that. Yeah. Alright, so we have most of this sketch cell. Now we just gotta do the top part and so on and so forth. Yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna do. So we're gonna look at some cityscapes, at least something like that. It's Google. Google's a good resource. A tool. It's a good tool, definitely, if you want to do something like this. So stuff like this is really useful to use as inspiration. Even stuff like this is pretty cool. We'll just do a silhouette, basically. And then with the actual city, it'll be basically a blend between Japanese and African sort of elements, because that's what this character is about. So basically, whatever city these characters are in, they'll have a whole group of people who are similar to them, and so on and so forth. There will be, villains, and so on and so forth, but it won't just be specifically of those people. It'll be a varying group of people, not just, people who look like one and the same. There'll be various groups of people, and so on and so forth. That because of their location are different. Okay, so yeah, we're just gonna draw the buildings, the silhouette specifically itself, and then we're gonna draw the eyes, and that's it for that. And we'll definitely finish him. Yep. Okay. So basically, if you're noticing, for some reason, at least this is what I'm noticing a pattern in. For African, traditionally, for African sort of architectural or just art in general, there's a lot of geometric shapes, as you can tell. So, like, circular patterns, rhombuses kind of shaped, sort of triangles, circular shapes, stuff like that, though. Hmm. But it's overall very interesting. If you really want to, you could put like mountains or something up here. That'd be cool. We'll definitely put a city around here, and it won't be like a. It'll be like a decent looking city. It won't be like wow, oh my gosh, like because think about it. It's not one city that looks exactly perfect that has no issues. Let's be realistic here. At least let's be realistic and authentic enough instead of trying to make it seem like a utopia, which it won't be. We gotta add this. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Hmm. That's why you have stuff like this. Very interesting the sort of shapes you can kind of make with buildings. Try to make it somewhat reasonable. But since it's futuristic, we don't know what type of technology they have and so on and so forth. We can make it up as we go. No, we have to make a sort of definitive book for our story though too. You don't want to make it super ridiculous or something like that. You don't want to have it be unrealistic if it's supposed to be based in reality. But the thing is, the story won't fully be based in reality. It'll have supernatural elements. That's the reason why you have previous users who kind of look like supernatural. Will look supernatural, but have realistic elements. Basically, stuff like that. Though you don't want it to be boring either. Yup, there goes that. And then for this, we could add like a building that looks rounded. There's a silhouette for the city. Hmm. Yeah, stuff like this basically. If we really want to do it, something like really cool, we can sort of add on. Sure, the silhouettes are going to be for the bigger buildings, and then, yup. So like triangulate this building if you want to. Make it look more reasonable and somewhat realistic in terms of how the city and the buildings are sort of forming. And actually, I don't know why it keeps doing that, but we don't even have to do that. We could just erase this. We're saying that it's a city, and since we now have our sort of shape, we can build upon it. That's the thing that I love about drawing stuff like this. You can build on it, have whatever shape you want, have it define, have a sort of definitive look to it, look unique enough to where it's like, okay, this looks like something someone would create, but it wouldn't be like every other place, if that makes sense. Okay, so then we could just add a little circle kind of in here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That building back here. Yep. Stuff like this, basically. And it might look boring now, but it'll probably look really dope when they actually draw this out. This is just a representation of what the city could look like. And you might even actually see stuff like this. But basically, you want it to try to look as authentic as possible if you're making up a city, but use realistic elements of it. Hmm. But hmm. Hmm. Now we're just gonna extend that part out instead of making it go like that. Small as a comparison of what you usually want for the city. So it looks lived in and that looks more dimensionally, realistic than just looking flat. But since we're going to be doing mostly slow for all of this, we can just black all this out and then add in windows essentially, customize windows, so on and so forth. Same with over here. And then just add all the other stuff in. And that's basically all we got to do for that. And we can erase these guidelines because now we know what sort of angle we want. It'll be going down now. Because if you notice, it's going kind of downward. Because it goes from here to here to here. It's basically just going down from there, if you can tell. But it's kind of going forward too for certain buildings. Essentially. So I think it's pretty cool. Excuse me. But yeah, basically you just want to try to make it look as cool as you can, but as realistic as you possibly can as well. Don't try to make it look forced. That's why you can look at stuff like Ghost in the Shell if you want as reference. Sort of environments that they have for these iconic characters. Stuff like that, basically. Even then. Hmm. Cool. Mm-hmm. We'll add that in, add an entire whatever if we need to show that there is still technology. It's kind of like the one we have now still. And this will mostly be blacked out or whatever. So there's that. Video's almost done. But yeah, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for those who are into the art videos and the channel, Baka Squad, for who like the drawing videos that I do. As we will also be dropping more content this weekend. We're doing mukbangs, challenges, and definitely we'll be doing more movie reviews this week too for that channel, Baka Squad. But this is basically just a side thing for my YouTube channel that I have specifically for drawing. For those who are very interested in drawing overall, I will be doing a video definitely on my main inspirations and why. More in-depth video analysis for that. So, oh wait, no, we went a bit too far. No, yeah, we went a bit too far in terms of that. We don't need that. Next video, we will definitely continue this by inking it. But again, please comment, like, share, subscribe for the video and for this channel.